Hey guys, I'm Gwen Candula, and I am so lucky to be here this morning with members of our 1 mile team, and they have been just fabulous inspirations to all of us over the last couple years. So today I'm very excited. We're going to have some conversation and get to know them a little bit better and see how breathing better has affected them, sleeping better has affected them in their athletic endeavors, which are amazing. You will be amazed at some of the stuff this team has done.
Mike Campbell, I'm the founder of Team 1 Mile, and I get a chance to bring all these ambassadors, I guess, to Wisconsin and get a chance to sit down with the group here at Advent and talk about just that, talk about how breathing better improves our fitness, improves our recovery, and how a lot of us have kind of learned about this and figured this out, unfortunately, later in life. So if our message can get out there to those that are out there still grinding it at a younger age, it's a game changer.
I'm Matt. I'm a nurse practitioner. I've been here for a long time, and I'm here to chime in from a medical standpoint.
Yes.
So I am Steve Lewis, your friendly neighborhood Olympian, so definitely have some experiences with athletics, and looking forward to this discussion and how breathing played an important role in my development, in my athletic career as well.
I'm Khadevis Robinson. I guess I'm your unfriendly neighborhood. So the Olympian coach, and Matt was telling me how important breathing is. He was saying if you don't breathe, you die. So breathing is obviously important for being an athlete and just being a human. So I'm learning a lot here, and thanks for having me.
Hi, I'm Captain Carrie Giles. I'm a pro duathlete, and I'm one of the Team 1 Mile riders. Very excited to be here, and definitely I have firsthand experience that breathing definitely affects performance, and I will be having one of these lovely procedures here shortly, and I can't wait to see exactly how much better my performance is going to be now that I can breathe.
And also,
Thanks.
Carrie is, I'd like to say veteran, but active duty.
Yes.
Active duty Air Force. So it's a great representation for the military force.
Hey, I'm Davey. I may turn out to be the poster child for Advent. I played 10 years in the NFL, broke my nose 3 times, and have suffered on and off with various forms of sleep apnea for a long time. So I'm eagerly waiting to learn more about this whole topic and come up and see you guys and see what you can do to help improve my performance.
John Hunick, longtime athlete and suffering of seasonal allergies, and how it affected my sports for sure in the falls and late winter. So I'm excited.
My name is Lex Albrecht, and I've been a professional cyclist since 2012. And over the years, I've had a lot of sleep issues, and I've looked for so many different solutions to improve my sleep quality, like having a good routine and lots of different stuff. And recently, I found out the significance that breathing properly while I'm sleeping actually has on my sleep quality. So this is something that I've learned is super important to performance and to quality of life.
Thanks. Well, thank you everyone for being here. I'm so excited for our conversation. So Mike, you've had firsthand experience with the difference that pre and post. If you want to talk about that,
Sure.
just a
Yeah.
smidge.
I too was a lifelong sufferer, kind of allergies and sinus issues, and for me it was kind of a reoccurring effect with sinus infections. You know, just never felt like I was draining well. But I also thought it was just how I was put together, so it was just kind of going through life.
Isn't that funny? Because we all just think that's normal, right? Like that's just how everybody is, right?
Right, and you just kind of fall in line with what you've kind of lived with. I had a conversation on a group ride, cycling ride, and the conversation was just about what you guys do. And like Don, I sat back and I'm like, I'm a candidate for this. I should at least go check it out, and I did. And to kind of fast forward, I went through the procedure. It was amazing. It's like going to the dentist. You really go in. It's a relatively short procedure, and you're out. And again, I know you guys don't always like to share the story, but 2 weeks later, I competed in Ironman, which I told them after the fact. But I mean, it was my recovery was relatively quick, and I got back out. But it was a game changer because then I could start to truly feel though I could breathe not only through my mouth but through my nose. So it's been great. So for me to be here as almost a spokesperson and ambassador is so easy because I've lived it.
And do you think was it just while you were exercising, or was it also recovery that was better?
But yeah, I'm sleeping a lot better, and recovery is key for all of us, especially as you get older and you're an aging athlete. Again, that recovery side of the ability to turn it around the next day and get back at it is so important. And as you get older, people I think can understand too that the energy levels are already starting to get taxed. so the recovery becomes even more important.
I think what he was saying is very interesting because we don't necessarily look at it that way, right? So when you were talking about how when you breathe through your mouth and how the allergens and stuff like that comes into play, like I didn't know that. So now I'm kind of fascinated to know that has an effect, but definitely knowing that if it clears it up. And so when you said that, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. And on a professional level, to be able to, let's say if you have a blockage and it's during the Super Bowl or during the Olympics or at the NCAA championships, to be able to breathe, not only does it make you feel better because you can breathe, but it's your confidence, just to know that you clear it up. So to me, that's been fascinating to just learn today what I've learned. So.
And there has been evidence that breathing through your nose makes a big difference. I think it was actually a 400 athlete that talked about exhaling before. And because you want to hold your breath for such a short race, but breathing through your nose is really important for a couple of reasons. It increases lung efficiency because you can't breathe as fast through your nose as you can through your mouth. So if you actually look, pro cyclists may or may not know this, but breathing through your nose actually keeps your breathing rate about the same, but you end up developing more efficient lungs. And your sinuses also create nitric oxide, which is really important for vasodilatation, so the energy can get to your muscles. They can look at studies where they work on nose breathing, and it increases not only athletic performance, but your ability to endure for a long time.
How's your experience been? I know you're getting ready to...
Yeah, I'm super excited. Mike and I were talking the other day just how you realize when you can't breathe and how it affects your performance. When we're on the bike and we're endurance athletes, we have to take a nutrition. And if we can't breathe and we're trying to eat, it makes it extremely difficult.
Yeah.
And so you have to be very strategic on when you're going to take your nutrition, because you can't do it during those high intensity intervals when you're trying to go up a mountain. You have to try and do it when you're on like a descent to take your nutrition, because otherwise you can't breathe. And so that right there, not being able to breathe, affects like your whole entire plan for during a race. Like, you have to take in that nutrition perfectly at the right time.
Yeah. Plus, I think if you look at the dynamics of our athletes, right? So you go from an endurance athlete, to the fast twitch, under 2 and obviously way under 1. But it's a different mindset and a different need for that oxygen, and also different breathing habits.
Yeah, this is a huge issue in the NFL, especially amongst linemen, right? We're all 300-pound guys, offensive and defensive linemen, big guys, thick necks, whatever, and so that kind of lends itself towards being prone towards sleep apnea. And then you're working out like crazy on top of it all. And the research shows that all of the, when you're working out, lifting weights or doing a 100-mile bike ride, you're actually tearing your muscles down, right? You're damaging your muscles. But the reason you get stronger is that during sleep, when your body has time to recover, that's when all the recovery and that's when all the gains happen. But for that to happen, you have to have good quality sleep, right? And so if you're not sleeping well at night, the damage you're doing during your training might not have time to recover enough, right, to get the gains. The pro Ironman, the pro triathletes, schedule a nap in, and they'll do 2-a-day workouts, but in between, part of their training schedule is a nap to get a full recovery from the morning workout before they even begin the afternoon workout, and then of course a full 8 or 10 hours of sleep at night to get the recovery. So from an athlete, we're always trying to get better, right? I view this as, if I can get this thing fixed, I only sleep like 4 or 5 hours a night. My watch tracks it, and so I know and it's probably not good quality sleep either, right? And if I can get this fixed, and to me this is like free performance, right? If I can recover better and recover quicker from my training workouts, I'll be that much better to do an even harder workout the next day going forward, and I'll actually realize more gains from the work I'm doing.
I think the biggest challenge, and I'm just listening here for an athlete, just we're competing in different environments, different time zones. I mean, we used to compete in the U.S., Khadevis, and then we go over to Europe. And then we're running in altitude, right? So when you think about all these other factors that's important for breathing, you have to get your rest. I might compete in the U.S. one day and then have to travel over to Europe, different time zones, have to have nice rest, right? So I can get up and be my best self. So, all these different factors, play a big role in it. So you have to have that rest and you have to be able to breathe to perform at your best level, particularly when you're dealing in altitude. I mean, you're training in altitude, I think with cyclists as well. But there's a lot of different factors, right? But what can you control? Is there something, a common denominator, your breathing, right? You fix that, I think you'll be able to perform in these different environments a lot better, right? These different altitudes. So that's crucial.
And exclusive nose breathing can simulate altitude training, because you can't breathe as fast. I mean, you said you opened up your mouth when you're working hard. You can train yourself to breathe mostly through the nose. That's going to make a long difference in terms of your efficiency at work. Are any of you really nerdy into heart rate variability? I'm assuming all of you are, right? I mean, one of the best ways of gaming that HRV is nose breathing, because if you can breathe through your nose, it activates both the sympathetic and parasympathetic systems, so it helps you kind of get that autonomic, variability and helps you recover better and sleep better.
A lot of times, I think for athletes, it's when we're maybe sick or have a cold, our nose is stopped up. But when we warm up and start running or whatever the exercise is, it can open up a little bit. Do you know why is it?
So some of that is just, adrenaline and everything else. Your nose is meant to perform. And yeah, you're stuffed up with a cold. That's not like day-to-day stuff. Yeah. It kind of just increases some blood flow in there, kind of decreases some of the vasoconstriction and vasocongestion. So some of the blood kind of leaves your nose a little bit, especially when you're transferring it from your nose into your thighs or your arms or wherever you're, whatever large muscle group you're working.
All right.
So it would kind of open up the nose a little bit.
All right.
You're also wired because your body knows if you're going to do an athletic event, it wants you to breathe through your nose. That's its way of signaling that. And some people can breathe okay through the nose, some people can't. So I'm guessing, Mike, before your procedure, your nose didn't open up much at all before, when you were working hard.
I noticed probably the most is when you're calming down at night to go to bed, and that you just feel that you can, I can breathe fully and not, again, just, through the mouth.
Is this a big topic amongst pro cyclists, the sleep, quality of sleep and
Quality of sleep is, but the knowledge of the impact that how you breathe has on the quality of your sleep, that is not something that is super well known. And we do everything that we can to put all the chances of having a good night's sleep on our side. Like Steve was saying, we're traveling all over the world. We're juggling with very intense training schedules and really putting high demands on our bodies. So we're always wired, and it's really hard to just chill out and sleep when we need to, wake up when we have to, and then perform to our maximum potential. And every little element that can affect the quality of our sleep is important. And for me to discover how important nose breathing is while I'm sleeping has been a game changer over only the past few months, actually. And I wish that I would have learned about this earlier in my career, because I sleep through the night now, whereas I was getting up every 2 hours, and I actually would catch myself every once in a while almost choking on air or something, my tongue or something. I don't know what it was, but I didn't realize that it was caused by the fact that I was breathing through my mouth. So I'm still learning. I'm still in the process of learning how to make sure that I breathe through my nose, but I'm really committed to it because I know that it makes a difference.
The other thing, from my perspective, the other big issue in the NFL is concussions, right? There's been a lot of talk about that recently, trying to make the game safer. And people ask me, say, you played 10 years in the NFL, how many concussions you had? And it's I don't know, 50? I mean, it's every day my job was to smash my head into another 300-pound guy. In practice, I forget about the games, but just in practice. And then every Sunday during the games, and I did that for 10 years in a row. And, it used to be you got a concussion. It was well, good. It was only a concussion, right? It wasn't like you blew your knee out. It's you can go play with that. They've gotten a lot smarter about it. But again, the same thing, the research, Dr. Ann McKee, she's actually from University of Wisconsin. She heads up our NFL Brain Bank at Boston University, where they actually, NFL players donate their brains to her research lab, and she freezes them and slices them, and her doctor she works under was the first guy to identify this CTE. And so he first identified this disease, and they've been studying it now for 20 or 30 years. And I met with her and said, listen, you know, I obviously played a long time, and I've had at least a handful of concussions. What's the best thing I can do? And she talked about endurance exercise is great, because she said, we used to think that the brain couldn't heal itself, but now we know it can. It just takes lots and lots of blood flow, right? And you go for a 100-mile bike ride, you're getting lots of blood flow to your brain. But the second most important thing is quality of sleep. Again, it's just like your body recovers, your brain can only recover when it's completely shut down at night, and you're not thinking about things, you're not working, you're not juggling your schedules, you're not juggling your kids. But it takes high quality sleep, and enough sleep and enough high quality sleep to kind of, for that blood flow to cure through and get the toxins out of your brain to help repair your brain. So I'm very interested in this whole thing, and I'm about learning more about it. That's both on the physical side of things and on the brain health kind of things. So.
Those are some great parallels.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's been fascinating. It's our honor to even be part of something like this. It's hard to find meaningful ways, I think, to reach out and touch people and to help. And so for you to do that on behalf, or as we do it together, it means so much.
Well,
so we appreciate
yeah.
what all of you are doing.
And whenever you look at a relationship, right,
Yeah.
with a sponsorship and kind of, I think the unique part about our relationship is, sure, there is crossover with helping us talking about breathing and sleeping and all those quality of issues. But there's also what is very strong with all of us, and I've come to realize your culture as well, and that is purposeful living, right? As we get out of our established careers and kind of what has defined us, that we're still looking to make a difference, have a purpose, and that's a powerful aspect.
Yeah.
So for us as a charity and a group of volunteers to come to an organization that lives it and preaches it as well, I think that's just, again, it's just been a powerful message for all of us. It really is.
That's awesome. What we always talk about is how we really try to unlock potential. So we consider people that can't breathe, like people that aren't
Right.
sleeping. If you can open that up and unlock their potential, like what changes, what better things can they see in their lives? But then we also try to unlock the potential for anybody on our team. How do we help our team members
Right.
keep rising and hit their goals and become what they want to be? And then in the community, what
Right.
kind of things can we do?
As a leader, I wanted to allow some autonomy to flow and find out where this really needs to go versus
Okay.
me saying,
This is what we're gonna be.
It's a
This-
square box,
yeah.
and we're fitting it in no matter what
Yeah.
happens. That I allowed some of that. Now, as we've done that, we're trying to always craft and redefine and sharpen our message. And I think
Okay.
that's powerful for people that just really kind of get a glimpse of it.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge.
Right.
But ultimately, at the end of the day, if I am or we're changing lives, then regardless of whatever my plan was,
Ta-da! Yeah.
it's working. And when I see the friendships, and I think Katie and I were talking about this too, is, you know, when you see the interaction going on, but yet you're kind of in the background in
Yeah.
the corner watching, almost as a parent.
Your heart happy.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Team 1 Mile, thank you so much to each and every one of you for taking the time today to come and share your powerful story about the important work you're doing and how we can all be partnering together to just keep doing good work and helping unlock potential
Yes.
and living purposely together. So thank you.